Mayday! Mayday! This is the flight leader to control tower. This is the flight leader to control tower. There's something wrong with the compass. Something strange is happening. We can't control the aircraft, and something's pulling us toward an unknown direction. That was the last message received by the American control tower from the commander of Flight 19 on December 5th, 1945. After that, the signal was lost completely. Flight 19 consisted of 5 military aircrafts on a routine training mission. All of them vanished without a trace while flying over the Bermuda Triangle, and when the U.S. Navy dispatched rescue aircrafts to find them. Something strange happened. One of the rescue planes, which was supposed to save the missing crew, exploded mid-air. So, what is going on? Why do things disappear in the Bermuda Triangle? The Bermuda Triangle is a vast area in the Atlantic Ocean, bordered by Bermuda, the state of Florida, and the islands of Puerto Rico. Since it's defined by 3 points, it was called a triangle. And since one of those points is Bermuda, it became known as the Bermuda Triangle. The size of this triangle is enormous. It spans over 1 million square kilometers. That's larger than the entire country of Egypt. This area became famous because of articles and books written by authors and journalists, warning about the dangers of this place and the mysterious disappearances of both ships and planes. The story goes, anything that passes through this area, whether in the sea or air, vanishes completely, without leaving any trace. For example, in January of 1918, a ship set sail heading toward port. The journey was only supposed to take 3 days, but the ship never arrived. People waited at the port, expecting it to dock, but it never showed up. And now, more than 100 years have passed, and we're still waiting. The ship disappeared without a trace, and strangely, it didn't even send out a distress call. It just vanished, silently. At the time, the US president famously said, "Only God and the sea know what happened to that ship." And ever since, the Bermuda Triangle kept swallowing more and more ships, planes, and even submarines. A new chain of bizarre disappearances began. Articles and newspapers picked up the story, but honestly, they dialed up the drama and poured gasoline on the fire. Leading the charge was the American news agency Associated Press and a magazine called Fate, which specialized in reporting on paranormal phenomena. Then came a guy named Richard Weiner, who wrote a book called The Devil's Triangle. And right after him came Vincent Gaddis. He wrote another book too, and from then on, a wave of authors followed suit. It became a media frenzy. People and the press started attributing the disappearances to supernatural forces and came up with all sorts of wild theories. Some claimed the lost city of Atlantis lies beneath the triangle, and that these disappearances are part of Atlantis's curse on humanity. Others said, no, it's the throne of the devil hovering above Bermuda, burning everything that gets near. A third group rejected both ideas and said, no, it's the aliens. They're abducting people and taking them to experiment on them. And yet another theory said that the ships and aircraft are falling into a time warp and being transported to a completely different era. Naturally, the scientific community rejected all of these claims, and rightly so. They have no scientific basis whatsoever. As for the claim about Satan's throne, there's absolutely no proof for that in the Quran or in any authentic Islamic texts. So, if all these explanations are nonsense, what's the real reason? Why do ships and planes vanish in this specific region? In truth, a number of researchers started conducting scientific studies to get to the bottom of the Bermuda mystery, and eventually they reached some logical explanations. The first thing they found was something called methane hydrates. These researchers discovered massive quantities of methane gas being released from the ocean floor in that region, in extremely high concentrations. They even proved in experiments that the methane bubbles can sink an entire ship. Why? Because the gas mixes with the water, significantly lowering its density, creating what's known as foamy water, which can't support the weight of the vessel. So the ship sinks instantly, without warning. Also, scientists from a university in Norway discovered a crater on the ocean floor in the Bermuda region, caused by a methane gas explosion. The crater was nearly half a kilometer wide. They confirmed that explosions of this size could shoot high into the atmosphere and disrupt aircraft flight patterns. The second major factor was tropical storms. These are powerful storms that frequently occur in tropical waters, especially around the Bermuda region. These storms can toss around even the largest ships like paper boats. And on top of that, there's speculation that the region contains a magnetic anomaly that interferes with compass readings and other navigational instruments. All of these reasons combined make the Bermuda Triangle one of the most dangerous zones for air and sea navigation. But was that the end of it? The American researcher Lawrence David Kusha, author of the Bermuda Triangle mystery, Solved, pointed the scientific community towards something incredibly important: the media. He started revealing that most of the stories told about the Bermuda Triangle were either heavily exaggerated or completely made up, or pure myths passed down without any solid evidence. For instance, in many of the incidents people claim happened inside the Bermuda Triangle. When researchers went back and checked the official records, they found those events didn't even happen within the triangle, or had nothing to do with it at all. And some of the ships people said had vanished were later found elsewhere. They never disappeared. The media just ignored those facts and kept pushing the mystery. Kusha also explained that a huge percentage of the Bermuda incidents had very logical explanations, like bad weather, technical failures, or human error. But that didn't matter to the media. They wanted a story that would grab attention, no matter how distorted it was. And the truth is, when scientists began analyzing the data, they found that the rate of accidents in the Bermuda Triangle was no higher than in any other busy maritime or aerial region. So no, the Bermuda Triangle isn't cursed, haunted, or magical. It's just a high-risk area with challenging conditions and a reputation that was inflated by sensational media and a public eager for mystery and suspense. In the end, the truth is far simpler than the fantasy.